Yo guys, Mike for Sim Racing 604, and you are looking at the Rekus GT3 from United Racing Design. This is the newest mod from URD. URD has produced some phenomenal mods over the years, and this is their latest entry. And if you're thinking to yourself, well, didn't you already review this mod, Mike? Well, almost. So Race Sim Studio chose to take on the same car recently, the, of course, Lexus GT3, and they released their Lux just a few weeks ago, and URD had this in the pipeline for some time. It's not as if they were following suit from RSS. This was something in the works. So it's just unfortunate timing. RSS put theirs out a couple weeks ago, and of course United Racing Design wanted to see their creation through, so they've now released the Rekus. So we have two very recent versions of a GT3 car. And that raises two problems. One, who is the Rekus for if there's already the Lux in the mod world for Assetto Corsa? And so I'll get into that when I start driving it. But also, it follows a trend that a lot of people, myself included, are not crazy about, which is the major modding teams releasing cars from series that are already overrepresented in Assetto Corsa. And I'm talking about GT3, I'm talking about Formula 1. There's already so much GT3, so why do we need the Rekus? Well, I hope to get into that a bit more when I drive it and talk a bit more about how it drives and is it enjoyable. But regardless of what I say, or regardless which car classes I think these major modding teams should be taking on, I do enjoy their work no matter what. So hopefully we see them be a bit more creative, but no matter what, I'm sure they will be fun cars to drive. Speaking of which, let's go have some fun with the Rekus at the Nürburgring GP. Alright, so here we are in the pits with the Rekus, I guess we'll call it. Just want to have a quick look at the setup here. Gearing, we can adjust the final gear ratio, which is interesting, but normally capped at 288 for a top speed, but as you can see, we do have some adjustment over that. Potentially a top speed of 315, which is interesting. Seems a bit high, but whatever. Tires, we have a dry and a wet compound. Fuel maximum, what is it? 110, 120, I guess. Yeah, 120. So we'll set that back a bit. And then interestingly, we do have an engine map here. So if you mouse over, it says, you know, controls fuel consumption, lower percentage equals less fuel usage and power output. I think they might have that backwards. I think it's actually the inverse, because we have a safe mode up top, which I think comes in at 4 on the dash screen, but we'll do some experimentation with that. But very interesting that they added an engine map. Two-stage traction control, as you can see here, it falls outside that dark box, but two-stage traction control and ABS as you'd expect, 7s across the board, so kind of a neutral setup here in terms of electronics. Rear wing adjustments, your typical alignment, dampers, drivetrain, just one diff preload adjustment there. Steering assist, we have brake duct adjustment here. Right now it is 5. Is that wide open or entirely closed? I'm not entirely sure. You'd have to experiment with that. And then 2 more suspension adjustments here. And then, of course, pit stop strategy. So very interesting. I like the 2-stage traction control. I like the engine mapping. That's cool. But let's go ahead for a drive here. As you can see, we are at the Nürburgring. And right now, the engine map is set to 0, which, again, I believe is the top. Whoa, that's a great start. Did it stall? No. Almost sounded like it. Yeah, I believe engine map 0 is the top, so I think that's why I spun there, just putting a bit much power down. So let's go ahead and adjust that. You can see it at the bottom of your screen there. Right now it's 2. 4 is safe mode, so you'll see this just absolutely drag. It is painful to drive the Rekus in engine map 4, but again, safe mode. So if you theoretically, and I don't think this would happen to you in Assetto Corsa, but if you did theoretically have a wreck or something and needed to limp the car back to the pits, I think this would be kind of the mode you choose. But let's quickly have a look at the acceleration out of the corner here. That is pinned. You see it creeping up, 150 kilometers an hour. It's really trying, but it's getting nowhere. So yeah, that is safe mode. So I don't know that in Assetto Corsa there'd be any practical usage for that, but let's see here. We'll dial that. I'm trying to get to 3. It's very sensitive, and this is not exclusive to the Rekus, but yeah, I find engine map adjustments in Assetto Corsa, the button is just hypersensitive. It just wants to quickly scroll through them. So we're at 3 now, which I think is the lowest, but we'll put in a lap time here and we'll see what we can do. I'm guessing it's going to be just over 2 minutes, whereas engine map 1 or 0 might put me down, you know, in the 57, 58 range. Not particularly fast, of course, but I just want to do it for comparison. So yeah, this 3, I'm not even reaching 6th gear there along the back straightaway here at Nürburgring, so this must be the lowest, other than safe mode. Alright, let's put in a lap time. Like I said, it's probably going to be over 2. I'm guessing it's going to be like a 2:03 or something like that, because it is really struggling for power here. And something else I noticed about this car when I'm driving it is the brakes are just absolutely insane. You can just bury the car into the corner and still get it safely slowed. And right at the bottom of the hill at the hairpin, oh, that's an ugly line, Mike. Right at the bottom of the hill, I'll show you, you can go deeper into that corner than I think I've ever seen any GT3 go. So I think either the weight of the car is wrong or the brake power is wrong, but it just feels unnatural next to ACC or next to basically any other GT3 car we have in Assetto Corsa. So here we go. So I'm going to get as much acceleration as I can in engine map 3 down the hill, and my braking point is now. So like, that wasn't even me slamming on the brakes and praying that I stop. That was like the natural braking point. And yeah, my normal braking point, and I'm not saying mine is right, but my normal braking point is a little bit earlier than that, or significantly earlier than that. So and that's consistent across pretty much all GT3 cars that I've driven in sim racing. So I'm not sure, maybe it's me, maybe I'm finally driving right, who knows, but it just kind of feels unnatural. But I will say, other than that, it's a very nice feeling car. Like, obviously going head to head with the Lux, URD had to bring it, and I think they did overall. It's a fairly stable car, as you might expect from a GT3 car, but yeah, it's also not boring. It certainly has a limit, and when you're going through corners, you can quite easily find that limit. It's not uncommon to spin the car. So yeah, it kind of keeps you on your toes just a little bit past the limit, so that's cool. Alright, what was that? I missed the lap time. Anyway, can I see that on the display? I don't just see it, but that's fine. But anyway, just know that there are engine maps you can mess around to find the fastest one. The car tried to get away from me there. In terms of the onboard sounds, I'll shut up in a second so you can get a sample. I don't love the onboards. I would say the external sounds sound a little more guttural, a little more V8-ish than does the Lux. So, you know, head-to-head with the RaceSim Studio offering, I would say the external sounds are better with this one, but the internal onboard sounds, I think I prefer the Lux. This one just sounds a bit off to me. I don't know. Have a listen. So not bad by any means. There's just kind of that strange hiss. I can't put my finger on it. You know, I'm guessing it's some level of, is it induction? I don't know. But anyway, it just kind of sounds unnatural to me. I don't love the onboard sounds, but yeah, they're fine. They're fine. Just not my favorite. But overall, nice sounding car, and as I say, just generally nice feeling. Like I do enjoy driving this car a lot. I was afraid coming into this video that, you know, URD would come up short of RSS. I would say on average, if you said, you know, which cars do you prefer to drive, URDs or RSSs, I would say my preference generally is RSS. but there's been some absolute bangers come from URD. I think the Glickenhaus was a phenomenal car, is a phenomenal car. The Radical, by the way, when are we getting that Radical SR10? I thought we were due to have that soon. But the SR3 XXR that we got from URD, phenomenal car, phenomenal car. So, you know, URD has some heat, they can bring it. And yeah, I was afraid that it wouldn't stack up nicely against the RSS car, but I think it really does. I think they've done a great job here. So, do you need both? No, there's not that great a difference between the two in order to justify a double purchase, I would say. If you're interested in the car and have yet to buy the RSS version, yeah, I don't know. This one's, I would say, a little more lively past the limit. So if that's something you go for, then great, get the URD. If you're looking for something a little more stable, perhaps a little bit more in line with what you might expect from the ACC version, I would say go with the Lux. But yeah, both are really fun. So I wouldn't say that there is a strong lean toward one or the other. It's just going to depend on what you want. But yeah, again, if you have the RSS version, I don't think there's probably a reason to buy the Rekus. So yeah, that's kind of my short take on it. Alright, so we'll finish this lap and then do one more. Let's see if we can maybe set a personal best. I'll give you the full volume replay so you can hear that V8 engine roaring. That was a 157 something. Why do I not have a display? Shouldn't I have a map or a lap time display? I don't know. So yeah, the handle's nice. You can feel those tires coming into their temperature range, their ideal temperature range, and car starts to feel really stable. But again, you go a little bit beyond that limit and there's a fight from the car, so it's a nice touch. Down the hill, and again, braking very, very late. Little effort. Oh, there we go. I said little effort and then I almost lost it. So point proven, Rekus. But generally I would say the braking zones are comparatively short next to most GT3s you will drive in sim racing. And just like that, I threw away my personal best. Down a 10th though, interestingly. If I can get through this chicane quickly, I might be able to get back on PV pace. Oh, that's what happens. That's what happens when you push too hard. Alright, we're not ending on that, are we? Let's go one more. Might have seen some tire temp fluctuation there from that long slide, but we'll see what happens here. Gonna start in a time deficit, no doubt. We're not going as fast as we could down the start-finish straight. We're starting to lose light here at the Nürburgring too. So it seems a good time to wrap. Second up, good start here. That infield section for me, very inconsistent. Oh, understeer. Alright, let's not bury it in the corner quite as deep this time around. somehow, on my previous best, I got a good launch out of that corner that I haven't been able to replicate since. It'd be nice to know what I did on that lap. We're bleeding time here. Again, doesn't look like a personal best, but we'll see if we can keep it clean through the chicane this time. Oh. Bouncing my way through, made it through safe, but sadly, downtime versus the personal best. But that'll do it. Hope you enjoyed it. Well done to URD. Nice car. Nice car. And, yeah, good rival to the RSS. Nice offering by URD. All right, enjoy this replay.